The following contest is an Ironman match. On the way to the ring, from Los Angeles, California, Jillian Hall. And the opponent, from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Candice Michelle.
Is live tonight from Oakland, California. I'm Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Law.
I've never seen a hotter crowd, JR. These Oakland fans are completely out of control. This is going to be great.
You're not wrong, King. The Bay Area's always been a hot spot for the superstars of Raw, and tonight is no exception. Oh boy, this is not going to be an easy hole to escape from.
It sure isn't, JR. I've been on the wrong end of that one many times.
Boy, what a match. I wouldn't even hazard a guess as to who's going to win this thing.
What? Have you got both your contacts in one eye, JR? It's been obvious to me since the start of the match.
Oh, really? What a submission hold! Could this be a tap out?
It is if the hold can't be broken. You can't take this kind of pain for long. Oh, boy. These fans have got something on their minds, JR.
Well, they paid for their tickets, King, and they've got a right to say whatever they want.
There's the reversal. It looks like they've slowed the match down a little, and I think that's some good strategy right there.
It certainly is. I'm sure they're well acquainted with the old expression, fools rush in.
Is that why you always seem to be in such a hurry, JR?
I think I've eaten a little too much good Oklahoma barbecue in my day, King, to hurry anywhere. There's no question that Jillian Hall is more than just another pretty face, although she certainly is a handsome young woman.
I know what you mean, JR. I mean, she's got a beautiful face. But what I really like... Wow! There's a hole you don't want to find yourself in, JR.
You sure don't, King. We've seen many a superstar tap out to this one.
Uh-oh. Talk about a hole you don't want to find yourself in.
No kidding. This will rearrange your anatomy. And it's been reversed. These superstars are going to put...
Oh, boy! This won't do you any favors.
It certainly doesn't, King. A flurry of unanswered blows raining down upon this defenseless superstar.
Oh, no! This is terrible! You can't let your opponent build this kind of momentum.
Well, all I can say is someone's been eating their vitamins and saying their prayers.
Wow! Listen to these fans, JR!
You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but there's no fooling the WWE fans at all. That went nowhere.
I think I know who's going to win this one, JR.
Oh, really? Enlighten us, King.
Wait a second. Why are you so eager to hear my prediction?
Because I want to know who's going to win. And 9 times out of 10, it's not the superstar you pick.
in this ring, JR. I think we'd better remind the folks at home not to try this stuff themselves.
That's for damn sure, King. The WWE superstars are trained professionals.
And even they don't walk away from every match in the best shape.
They sure don't. We've seen more than one superstar taken out of here on a stretcher.
Oh, man. I've been in this hole before, JR. This brings back some bad memories.
I can understand why, King. I can't even imagine the pain being inflicted here. Oh, boy. The adrenaline is pumping. I think this could be the beginning of the end.
No, it can't end like this. Come on, do something quick. What a counter. You gotta respect the commitment and the dedication of these superstars to their careers.
Did you see that? Ring the damn bell. You can't let somebody get away with that.
I don't think the ref saw it, JR. And if the ref doesn't see it, it's not illegal.
The submission has been expertly applied, and now it's just a matter of time.
That's right, JR. You've either got to break the hold or get broken by it.
The submission is locked in. This could be huge.
Oh, my gosh, JR. You can't go on without tapping after this.
We could be looking at a pinfall here, folks.
That was like 2 7/8, JR.
Boy, when you look at these superstars, it really drives home the fact that Raw is the dominant brand of sports entertainment.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, JR. There's not a superstar on the SmackDown roster who could hold a candle to Raw's finest.
I wouldn't go that far, King. There are quite a few SmackDown superstars who I'd love to have on Raw.
Oh, come on, JR. Why would you want to lower the tone of the Raw locker room by bringing in some losers from SmackDown?
King, next time you call The Undertaker, Kurt Angle, and Chris Benoit losers, make sure you give me some warning so I can get the hell out of here before you do it. I don't want to be any part of what that's going to get me.
These superstars sure aren't going easy on each other here tonight.
What you expect, King? This isn't ballet, you know.
Oh, really, JR? Gosh, tell me more about your in-ring experience.
Well, I've got a pinfall victory over Triple H to my credit. How about... And there's the submission! There might not be any way out of it!
There better be! But we're going to see a tap out right here! I'm not sure I agree with what the crowd is chanting, JR, but I guess it's their right.
You're damn right it is. It comes with the price of admission.
Oh, man, I think she's got an opportunity to put her opponent away here.
I think you're right, King. And that cartwheel elbow just might have done it.
Jillian would make such a great addition to Raw, JR. I think I'll line her and dine her and try to get her to jump from SmackDown.
King, if you really wanted to join us on Monday nights, I think the best thing you could do is not remind her that you'll be drooling over her every week.
I've got to say, JR, I'm really impressed by what we've seen here tonight.
How could you not be, King? These are some of the finest athletes in all of sports entertainment.
I know that, JR. I'm just saying
This capacity crowd is solidly behind their superstar. Look at
that submission is locked in, JR, and this is a tough hold to break.
It sure is, King. And even if you break the hold, it takes its toll on you. Look at this. Look at this. You talk about a house of fire. You're seeing it right here.
Yeah? Well, somebody better put out that fire, or this one's not going to end well. Boy, it's obvious these superstars have done their homework on each other.
They sure have. And this is one hell of an exam.
Let's hope it's not their final exam, JR. I'd love to see them go at it again.
Well, if I think the fans have their way, you'll get your wish, King.
I think it's pretty obvious which way this one's going to go, JR.
Well, from my perspective, this is still anybody's match.
I'd like to see things from your perspective, JR, but I'd have to get my head out of my rear end first.
And Lord knows it's been up there for so long that that would be no easy feat. You're putting a lot on the line when you climb that turnbuckle.
gotta say, I'm impressed with Jillian's stamina, JR. She's gotta be completely exhausted by now.
What are you talking about, King? She doesn't look that tired to me.
Well, she should be. She's been running through my mind all night long. You know, JR, when I saw this match on paper, I wasn't too sure about it. But it's turned out a lot better.
He went straight for the pin. No flies on him. The WWE Divas are some of the most beautiful and athletic women in the world. And there's the cover.
Was that 3? No? Come on! I'd ask you who you want to win this matchup, JR, but it's been pretty. Climbing up the turnbuckle isn't bad. It's all the ways you can come down that hurt. I think we're going to find out just how much punishment the human body can withstand here tonight.
I think you're right, King. These superstars seem intent on taking each other to the limit.
I love that attitude, JR. Go big or go home.
Well, these superstars sure aren't going home until this match is settled once and for all. Sounds like this crowd's got something on their minds, King.
Who cares about them, JR? Look what's going on in the ring. You can look at any professional.
I don't believe it. We might see a superstar get beat with her own finishing move here.
Here's the pin! Could this be it? Look at this, JR. Can you imagine SmackDown putting on a match half as good as this?
No disrespect intended for our SmackDown colleagues, but no, I can't, King. I truly believe Raw is the dominant brand in sports entertainment.
And you hit the nail right on the head there, JR. The dominant brand. Not the slightly better brand or the sort of superior brand.
Absolutely not. I'm a Raw man, and I have to believe we're head and shoulders better than the competition.
You won't get any argument from me, JR. SmackDown's the minor leagues as far as I'm concerned. This has gone beyond just being a match, JR. I think these superstars genuinely hate each other.
There's no love lost between these competitors, that's for sure. If looks could kill, somebody would be pushing up daisies right now.
And you've got to admit, that makes for a much more interesting match, JR.
And now a pin! This could be it!
I've been looking forward to this match all night, JR. I can't believe it's finally underway.
This has been a hotly anticipated. He's got his opponent in a pinning predicament. I think this crowd's giving these superstars a piece of their minds, King.
Are you sure they can afford it, JR?
This is a risky move. It could prove to be disastrous.
These superstars are beating the heck out of each other, and this crowd can't get enough of it.
It's what they paid to see, King, and they're getting their money's worth tonight.
They sure are, JR. There's no question these superstars are earning their paychecks. Did you ever think you'd be watching these superstars compete against each other here tonight, JR?
I have a feeling their paths are going to cross sooner or later, and I'm glad I'm here to see it.
Me too. It almost makes it worth having to sit next to you and listen to those corny expressions of yours. What the heck is a government mule anyway?
It's what you get beat like when you're in the middle of a slobber knocker. And if you don't have the guts to stick around, you might run like...
Wow! Would you look at this?
It's her signature cartwheel elbow. She's got more quick blocks than a politician on the campaign trail. This is strong action at its finest. That's why Raw is the #1 brand of sports entertainment.
You got that right, JR. You're not going to see this kind of action on SmackDown.
Not on SmackDown or anywhere else. Are you seeing what I'm seeing, King? Looks like turnabout is fair play. Looks like he's trying for a pin here.
I don't think these superstars superstars have any intention of taking it easy on each other tonight.
That's not what they signed up for, King. And quite frankly, I think these fans would be disappointed if they didn't go all out.
Well, that's easy for the fans to say. They've never set foot inside that ring.
No, but they spend our...
I don't care how tough you are, JR. No one can take this kind of pain for long.
You're absolutely right, King. We've seen many superstars tap out to this buried hole.
I don't know if his opponent has what it takes to kick out.
This capacity crowd is making their opinions known tonight.
They sure are, JR, and I love to hear it.
What an incredible performance by these phenomenal superstars.
Did you expect anything less, JR? I mean, look who's in the ring right now.
No, I didn't, King. I had high expectations, and I'm happy to say...
He's a 3 count away from a pinfall.
He was a split second away from a 3 count.
You talk about ruthless aggression. Look at the way these superstars have been going after each other. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine getting beaten with your own finisher, JR? He can pin him right here, JR. See, JR, this is exactly why Raw is the #1 brand in all of sports entertainment.
You're absolutely right, King. We've got the best superstars, the best fans,
and the best announcers. We could have a pinfall here, JR. I think these superstars are getting some feedback from the crowd, JR.
Nothing wrong with that, King. That's what we like to hear. I've got a feeling that this has all the makings of an instant classic.
That's probably just gas, JR.
Well, I did have some good old Oklahoma barbecue before tonight's show, but I don't think that's it, King. If one of these superstars starts to build momentum, it could be the beginning of the end of this match.
That's right, JR. You don't see a lot of matches won with 1 or 2 big moves.
You sure don't. You've got to lay the groundwork first.
Can you believe we actually get paid to do this job, JR?
It's like a dream come true, King. Except we'll have to sit here and listen to you drool over the divas.
Come on, JR. You know I'm helpless when it comes to puppies.
Oh, I know, King. And that's why I'm bringing a pitcher of ice water out here with me next time.
I think I know who's going to win this match, but I don't want to say it. I'm afraid I'll jinx it.
Come on. He may get the 3 count here. Oh, man. I think we're about to see a high-risk move here. So, King, any predictions about the outcome of this match?
Wow! Stealing your opponent's finishing move definitely sends a message.
Can his opponent kick out of this pinning predicament? I tell you, King, sometimes I get exhausted just watching these superstars compete.
I know what you mean, JR. I don't think most people appreciate what incredible athletes these WWE superstars really are.
You've got to have some excellent conditioning to be able to do what they do.
Well, that's the name of the game, JR. You got to keep moving. No dog ever peed on a moving car.
Oh, that's a lovely image, King. I'd ask you where you come up with this stuff, but I don't think I want to know, quite frankly. Well, you can't ever accuse the WWE fans of being shy about saying what's on their minds.
You sure can't, JR, and I don't think we'd have it any other way. Looks like things have quieted down here a bit, JR.
Well, you can be certain that won't last long, King.
That's for sure. I haven't seen the superstar yet who goes down without a fight. Here's the cover, JR.
You've got to ask yourself, how much punishment will these superstars be able to withstand tonight?
I don't know, JR, but I think they're pretty intent on finding out.
They certainly are. I don't know how it's going to end, but I can guarantee you they're going to leave it all in the ring.
There's the pin! This match has the potential to be an instant classic, but I think these fans are too stupid to realize it.
How can you say that, King? How can you insult the intelligence of these WWE fans?
Well, I heard that we gave them an IQ test, and the results came back negative.
Folks, I've got to apologize for the King here tonight. He must have gotten up on the wrong side of somebody else's bed this morning. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears have been shed in that very ring. That's a short climb, but a potentially long fall.
Listen to the crowd, JR. I think they've got something to say to these superstars.
And if they're smart, they'll listen. This could be a pinfall. These top rope moves are always difference makers, for better or worse. This match is going to continue until someone's completely debilitated. And considering the resiliency of these superstars, that's not going to be easy.
That's for sure. No one in this match is going down without a fight.
And I wouldn't expect any less from them, King. Like them or not, you've got to respect the tenacity of each and every WWE superstar.
You think these fans have gotten their money's worth tonight, JR?
If they haven't yet, I'm sure they're going to by the end of this match.
Well, I don't say this too often, but I completely agree with you.
I'll tell you what, King, the WWE superstars are about the greatest athletes you'll find in any sport, period.
What do you mean, just about, JR? Can you actually think of anywhere else that you can see athletes of this caliber?
I was just going for a little humility there, King. I'm not surprised it was lost on you. These superstars are in perfect shape, and that comes as no surprise whatsoever.
He's going for the cover, JR! So, how do you think this one's going to turn out, JR?
Honestly, King, I have absolutely no idea. Anything can happen here in the WWE.
But you've got to have a guess, right?
I might, but I'd rather keep it to myself if it's all the same to you, King.
I think I see where this one's going, JR. I don't think we're very far from the end of the match.
I disagree entirely, King. I bet my Oklahoma Sooner ass that this one isn't even close to being over.
That's a pretty big bet, JR. Are you sure you're able to cover it?
I think this crowd has decided to exercise the right of free speech.
God bless the First Amendment, JR. I wonder if Smackdown's going to have anything nearly this good next Friday.
I think we both know the answer to that one, King. How could they compete with a match like this?
These superstars are so unpredictable, this match could go another 30 seconds or 30 minutes.
I hope it's the latter, King. It wouldn't hurt my feelings one bit if this match lasted the rest of the night. She's looking to put her opponent away in short order.
Oh my gosh! That cartwheel elbow should just about do it, JR. I think these superstars have a legitimate beef with each other, JR.
So do I, King. I'm not so sure their issues with each other are going to be solved with one match.
I hope not. I'd love to see them go at it again and again.
And here's the pin.
These superstars are putting on a great match so far, JR. But if they drop the ball, these fans will let them hear about it.
I don't think that's going to happen, King. These competitors know that their paychecks come straight from the WWE fans. They're not going to let them down.
Yeah, but if they don't keep the fans happy...
If wishes were fishes, the world would be an ocean. But that's not the case now, is it?
JR's not going to be happy about this one, folks. I think one of his favorites is going to get beat like the proverbial government mule.
I'm not playing favorites, King. I might have issues with certain superstars as human beings.
Flat on your back with your shoulders on the mat is no place to be.
A count of 2, and the referee's hand was coming down for the 3.
You think this is going to be a back-and-forth kind of match? Or do you think this is going to be pretty one-sided, JR?
I couldn't tell you, King. These superstars are so unpredictable that you can never tell how a match is going to go.
That was a long way to go for a simple, I don't know, JR. He's going for the pin!
This is a classic matchup, King. I'm so glad the WWE fans are getting the chance to see it.
Yeah, and I'm happy that I'm getting to see it too, JR. I just wish they'd pick up the pace a little.
Oh, no. This is classic. Watch this one, King. I think it's her signature cartwheel elbow.
Dizzy just watching it, JR. Man, is there even going to be anything left of these superstars by the time they're done?
Not if they have their way, King. Everything they came in here with tonight is going to be left in that ring, mark my words.
I hope these fans appreciate it, JR. These superstars are putting it all on the line for them right here tonight. I tell you, JR, this one has the potential to be a Match of the Year candidate.
No doubt about it, King. As far as I'm concerned, any WWE match has that potential. Everyone on the roster is an accomplished wrestler.
I feel like the luckiest guy in the world, JR. I can't believe I actually get paid to do this job.
Well, don't let Mr. McMahon hear you say that, King, or you might wind up having to do it for free.
That's true. I don't want to say that Mr. McMahon's cheap, JR, but I heard he won't even tip a canoe. The intensity of these superstars is unbelievable.
No doubt about that, King. The fans are getting their money's worth here tonight.
Any superstar shows the slightest hint of weakness, they've lost the match.
That's for sure. No matter how beat up you are, you can't ever let your opponent know the extent of your injuries.
And that's easier said than done, JR. The human body can only absorb so much punishment. To be that referee, JR. Can you imagine having to tell one of these superstars no?
Boy, I think I've had nightmares about trying to do something like that.
Oh boy, you might want to close your eyes, JR. This one could get ugly.
You're damn right it could. It could get broken shoe ugly. And that's what this business is all about. It's not ballet, you know.
Almost 3, JR. I don't think that these superstars have even contemplated the fact that they might lose.
I'm sure they have. That's not the kind of attitude you come in with and expect to pick up the win.
You're right about that, JR. If you can't see yourself having your arm raised by the referee when it's over, don't bother showing up.
Oh, man. This is a precarious position to be in.
And that's why. Getting a forehead ground into your face is just about the most painful thing I can think of. I wonder how long these superstars will be able to keep this up.
They'll go as long as they need to, King. And if they can't, they won't be having their arms raised after the match. That's for damn sure.
What are they going to do next?
I couldn't even begin to guess, King. That's why they say anything can happen here in the WWE.
It's matches like this that make this the greatest job Seriously, King.
I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Remind me to never try and step between these guys, JR.
That would be hazardous to your health for sure. I'm not so sure this is about winning or losing anymore. I think it's become more personal than that.
Of course it's personal, JR. Anytime you step into the ring with someone who wants to beat you down in order to win the match, it's personal.
I guess I can't argue with that, King. I just wonder if they'll be able to settle their differences in this match, or if it's going to...
I think someone's going for a high-risk move, JR. I almost feel bad for Taz and Michael Cole. They never get to call matches as good as this.
SmackDown's had its fair share of exciting matchups, King, but I'm inclined to agree with you. There's nothing like watching the Raw superstars perform live.
We're so lucky, JR. We get to see them every single week.
6.
I'm sure these competitors have studied each other very carefully.
This match would be over by now if they hadn't, JR. You never get into the ring without doing your homework.
That would be a recipe for disaster for sure, King.
It looks like they're slowing the pace down a bit here.
Maybe so. With 1 or 2. You don't have to like it, but that pinfall left no question who won this match.
Here's
That's
your
for sure,
winner,
JR. If your shoulders are down for the 3 count,
Candice.
you lose, period.
But despite the outcome of the match, I don't think the score is settled between these superstars.